Even though real estate prices have skyrocketed in the last couple of years, there are still great deals to be had if you are willing to consider some non-conventional ways of purchasing a home, such as buying a home that is listed as a short sale, buying a home that is bank-owned, buying a home from an auction, and buying a HUD home. In this video, I'm going to tell you about HUD homes and go over the process of purchasing a HUD home step by step. First of all, what is a HUD home? HUD is an acronym for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and HUD ends up acquiring homes as a result of foreclosure on FHA-insured mortgages. FHA is an acronym for Federal Housing Administration, which is a part of HUD, and FHA loans refer to home loans that are federally backed by the FHA. The way FHA loans work is that when a bank gives you a loan, the government insures your mortgage so that if you were no longer able to make your mortgage payments and default on the loan, then HUD would pay the bank the remaining balance on the loan so that the bank doesn't lose any money. And HUD would then take possession of the foreclosed home and it becomes a HUD home. Now, HUD is not in the business of managing real estate or selling houses. They sort of got stuck with these homes. So HUD will sell these homes to the public with the goal of trying to recoup or minimize their monetary losses from the foreclosure. They're not out to make a profit per se, and that means these homes will present great opportunities for you to buy a home at a great discount. The fact that HUD homes can be bought at a great value is well known among investors, and there will be a lot of interest and competition for these homes, especially if they happen to be in prime locations. So you need to be on top of the bidding process and be very strategic in how much you bid in order to be successful in getting a HUD home. Some of these homes can be in great condition and others might be in horrible condition. So if you're buying a HUD home, you need to be prepared to make repairs and fix up the property because HUD homes are sold as is. HUD does not guarantee the condition of any property, nor whether it meets local codes. HUD will not make any repairs, whether it's an AC unit that is broken or pipes that are leaking. But unlike foreclosure auctions by banks and private lenders, where you're taking tremendous risks because often you will not be allowed to view the inside of the house in person before the foreclosure auction, you can view and conduct an inspection of HUD homes, including turning on the utilities before and or after you bid on them. Now, as I've already mentioned, there could be a lot of competition for these homes, particularly from investors. But folks who will be owner-occupants have a big advantage in that you'll get a chance to bid on the property before any investor can. So, for a set period of time after HUD homes come on the market, they will be available only to buyers who will use the home as their primary residence. This period is called the exclusive listing period, and I'll explain that more later. If no acceptable bids come in during this period, then bidding is opened up to all, including the investors. The quickest and easiest way to find a HUD home is to go to www.hudhomestore.gov to search for available HUD properties. You can find HUD homes in a particular area, clicking on the state, and you can narrow the search by putting in the zip code. You can also narrow your search based on the price range or the number of bedrooms and bathrooms you want. If there's a home you're interested in, you can click on this link. After you click on the link, you'll see information about the home, including photos. You can click on the Amenities tab to find more information about the home or the community if there are common amenities. The Addendums tab contains documents that are important for you to read, and these can be downloaded as Adobe files. There's also a map that shows where the home is located. And finally, the agent info shows who the listing broker is, who the asset manager is, and who the field service manager is. Let's say the home is located in Laurel. The listing agent is someone from Laurel because they would know the Laurel market best. The asset manager is Rain and Company, and the field service manager is Brent Martin of BLM Companies. Now, if we look at a property in Frederick, the listing agent is now someone from Frederick, while the asset manager is still Rain and Company, and the field service manager is still Brent Martin of BLM Companies. As I've already said, HUD is not in the business of managing real estate or selling houses, so HUD hires contractors for these functions. The asset managers are the contractors who are responsible for marketing and selling HUD-owned properties. They in turn hire local real estate agents to list the homes for sale in the MLS, in addition to listing the properties on www.hudhomestore.gov. The asset managers are also the ones who will review and either accept or not accept the bids. There is one asset manager for a selected contract area. Likewise, there is one field service contractor for a specific geographic area. Field service managers are companies that provide property preservation and protection services, such as inspecting the property, securing the property so that you don't have unwanted people entering and living the property, performing cosmetic enhancements, and providing property maintenance. Once you find the HUD home that you're interested in, the first thing that you need to do is to work with a real estate broker. The reason is that only brokers can submit a bid, which is done online. You can't submit a bid yourself, and if you were already working with a real estate agent to buy a home, but he's not a broker, then he can't submit a bid either. He will need to ask the broker who he works for to submit a bid for you. Now, you shouldn't work with just any broker, but one that is experienced in bidding on HUD homes, know what it takes to submit a winning bid, and can guide you through the process. Not all brokers are going to be experienced and skilled at HUD foreclosure home buying process, even though they know what HUD homes are. So they might not necessarily know how much to offer for HUD property or how to navigate the bidding process to maximize your chances of getting your bid accepted. In general, a successful bid amount falls between 85 to 89% of the home's listing price. In this video, I'm going to teach you what's involved in the bidding process, and then in another video, I'm going to share with you all the details of my personal HUD home buying experience and my successful bidding strategy. So the bidding process. As I mentioned before, if you're looking to buy a home to live in as opposed to flip or use as a rental, then you have an advantage because HUD homes that come on the market will usually have a 15-day exclusive listing period, during which time bids from owner-occupants will be accepted but not investors. Once the exclusive listing period ends, the property goes into the extended listing period, during which time anyone from the general public can bid on it. Let's go back to the HUD website and I'll show you where this is indicated. So you can see here under the listing period column which homes are in the exclusive listing period and which are in the extended listing period. If you're an investor and you are only interested in properties that you can bid on, then you can go to buyer type and select investor. Then you will see that out of 12 properties, your hit list pulls up the 5 properties that are in the extended listing period. In rare cases, when the property is listed as uninsured, the exclusive listing period is only 5 days. So what does it mean when a property is listed as uninsured? Don't worry, this does not have anything to do with being able to get homeowners insurance for the house. This just indicates whether or not HUD will grant an FHA loan for this property. If the property is insured, then you can get a standard FHA loan. If the property is listed as uninsured, then you can't get a standard FHA loan to buy it, so you would need to get a conventional loan or buy with cash or get an FHA 203K mortgage. But in order to get an FHA 203K mortgage, the required repairs need to be completed within 90 days of the closing. HUD lists a property as uninsured when it requires extensive repairs that exceed $5,000. The vast majority of the properties will be listed as insured, and you can find out whether the property is listed as insured or uninsured on the property information page. The bids that you submit are sealed bids. For insured or insured with escrow properties, bids received from the 1st through the 10th day of the exclusive listing period will be opened on the next business day after the 10th day. The asset manager opening the bids will treat all bids as having been received simultaneously. If none of the bids received by the 10th day are accepted, the asset manager will open and review bids received during the 11th day up to the 15th day on a daily basis the next business day. So bids received on the 11th day will be reviewed on the next business day. Bids received on the 12th day will be reviewed on the next business day, and so on. If a bid is not accepted during the 15-day exclusive listing period, the asset manager will extend the listing to all buyers by listing the property in the extended listing period. For uninsured properties, the asset manager will open and review all bids received from the 1st through the 5th day on the next business day after the 5th day of the exclusive listing period. The asset manager will again treat all bids as having been received simultaneously. If a bid is not accepted, the asset manager will list the property in the extended listing period and make it available to all buyers. So you might ask, why wouldn't a bid be accepted? Well, even if your bid happens to be the highest bid out of, let's say, 5 bids that were submitted, the asset manager might decide not to accept your bid if it turns out that the offer price was too low and HUD would be taking huge losses. HUD can choose to hold on to properties for several months. During the extended listing period, the asset manager will open and review the bids on a daily basis until they accept a bid. So if your bid doesn't get accepted, you can bid again with the offer price increased a little bit. On any given day, there may or may not be other bids submitted on that day that you need to compete against. Once your bid is accepted, the official paperwork that your broker needs to prepare and submit to HUD is the same sort of paperwork and contract that a real estate agent prepares on behalf of the buyer for a regular real estate transaction. You need to submit a deposit, and you can also include contingencies on the contract just as you would for a regular real estate contract, such as an inspection contingency that would allow you to void the contract for whatever reason. And the process of closing on a HUD home is the same as that of a regular real estate transaction. Now I've covered all the basics of bidding on a HUD home in this video, and in my next video I'm going to cover the nitty-gritty of the bidding strategy that I used when I purchased my HUD home, and I will share some additional tips that I think you'll find very useful. Thanks for watching.